Hello and welcome to Codeforces 9982. We are solving problem B, Stalin sort. So in this problem, we are given a unique way of sorting algorithm. So in this problem, basically in this algorithm, what we are doing is instead of replacing or swapping, we are removing the elements, which is leading us to off and time complexity. So this is some unique way that in this, according to this problem, they have given this how they are sorting the array. So what it does is basically it will start from the second element in the array and it will check that if the current element is smaller than the previous element. That is why we are starting from the second one, because we are always checking with the previous element. So also they have given that ignore the elements which have been deleted. So if the element is deleted, the previous element is basically the originally previous element that they have taken in account. So yeah, that is it. Then delete the element that is basically the smaller element, remove it. So they also given this example that 142. So after 4 we have 2, so previous element is greater, so they are dropping the 2 here. Again they are dropping the 3 here because they have taken 4 into the account. Then comes the 6, so 6 they have taken. So this is the Stalin sort they are saying. Okay, now they are saying that another term is vulnerable. So if an array is vulnerable, how it, if we can sort it in non increasing order, that is decreasing order with repetitive values that we can have. So non-decreasing order by applying Stalin sort to any of its subarrays. So that is the definition of the vulnerable. So we are given array A of n integers and we need to tell what is the minimum number of integers which must be removed from array to make it vulnerable. Okay. So initially it may sound a little bit of complex, but let's see the examples. One thing to observe is they have given the n as 2000 and they have also mentioned that n over all test cases will not exceed 2000, so we can simply use of n square. So that is the one thing that we can conclude as of now. Okay, so now let's see the example. So in the example what they're saying is they have taken 3649252 in account, and they're saying that if we remove two element 3 and 9, then we are left with 46252 as our array, and now we can apply Stalin sort to it in order to make it non-decreasing. And how they are doing is they are checking the 4 to 5 subarray, which resulted in the final array as 46452, and then applying to it they finally landed on 62. Okay, so one thing to note is that Stalin sort is basically talking about non-decreasing, and finally we have to land up at non-increasing. Okay, so one thing is to be sure that whatever the array we are having at the finally on which we'll be applying the Stalin sort, that array's first element should be the maximum element for that particular subsequence that we are taking. So that is the very first idea that we have. Okay, so to have something concrete about it, let's start with the example. So we are dealing with the very first example which they have. So what I just said is that what I'll assume is that I will be taking a subsequence 3 in which my 3 will be the maximum element. Okay, so if 3 is my maximum element, all the other subsequences should be less than or equal to 3. So if I proceed, another element small or less than to 3 will be 2 and then 2. So I will have 3 to 2 as my one subsequence. So in this, it resulted of removing 4 elements that I have. Okay, so currently I can say that yeah, if I have this 4, I can apply Stalin sort to it. How I can apply? I'll go to this, but this is obviously in non-increasing order, so I can say that I don't have to apply it. But since I have removed 4 elements, so this will cost me 4 elements. Okay, this is one. Another is that if let's say I start with 6, so I have dropped 3 here, now I started with 6. So another other elements coming after 6 should be less than or equal to 6, so I will be having 4 2 5 2. So I have now 6 4 2 5 2. Here I have dropped 2 elements, which is better than dropping the 2 elements previously. And now we can apply Stalin sort here in order to land it up to non-increasing subsequence. So what I can do is to make it non-decreasing is I can do this element 5 2. 2 is less than, so I can drop 2 here. I can drop 4 2 since they're coming after 6, so I will be left with 6 and 5, so that will be my answer. Yeah, I can sort it in non-decreasing order after I have dropped two elements that are 3 and 9 as it said in the example. So why to believe them? Let's see for all the other cases as well. Now we are starting with 4. So if I have taken 4, and the other elements will be 2 and 2. So 4 to 2 will be my subarray. I have removed here totally 7. So 4 elements I have removed here. So that is obviously not better than the answer that we got initially, that is 2. Then if we take 9, then 9 2 5 2. Again, I have to drop 3 elements. If I start with 2, I will be having only two twos. We have better solution to it, 5 2, then we will have 5 and 2. So yeah, after iterating, what you observe is the best possible is this, when we are dropping the two elements. So yeah, just started with the same approach, and also we observed that n is 2000, so we can easily apply n square. So what I'm doing is I've taken the input, I've taken the array. Initially I've initialized my answer as n because we have to minimize it, so let's maximize initially our answer. Starting from the 0th index, CTR is basically the count of elements that I have to remove. So starting with the 0 index, so I don't have to remove, so I started with, let's see, initialize CTR with I only. So if I'm on index 1, I have to remove the one index, that is basically the 0th index. So yeah, and then I started from I plus 1 to n, and I see that if there are any value that aj is greater than a of I will be removing that, so I increase that my counter. And finally, after the iteration is done, I will, that answer should be minimum of answer and counter, and when all that thing is done, simply answer will be my answer. So yeah, that was all for this question. If you have any query, do comment it out, and if you like the video, do subscribe it, and subscribe for more daily content. Thank you.